I'll be able to hear
Perfect. All right, everybody. My name is Danielle Damianov. I'm with CMG Financial, and we are going to talk about business planning. But before we begin, I just want to mention two things. So I'm a CMG Financial. I'm a loan officer. And I wanted to mention a program that we have that's really, really good. If you know of any doctors out there that are looking for 100% financing, we have a really good 100% financing medical professional program that goes up to $750,000. No monthly mortgage insurance on that program, and our rates are really, really good. So if you're looking for something to reach out to doctors with, that's definitely the program. And we also have the all-in-one loan program, which is essentially like a first mortgage line of credit. I'm not going to really get into CMG, but one thing I can tell you is that our company is amazing. We're closing loans super quickly. I'm in and out of underwriting in a day. We can submit loans. I know right now with this market, it's just so difficult sometimes to get, accepted offers. So I'm sending all of our files through our TBD process. So you have a full-blown underwriting approval when you're making that offer. And that way you can let, the agent on the other side know that they've already been fully approved through underwriting. So there's not going to be any issues. We can close in as little as 2 weeks. If you need to make that happen, we can make it happen. So excellent company, great process. My team is awesome, really good rates. So that's a little bit about us. I will leave some of the medical professional flyers here that I can co-brand with your information on it. And you can just send me an email and we can get your picture, all of your contact info on those flyers as well as any other flyers. So if you need open house flyers, things like that, we can certainly get that for you. So a little bit about me. I know most of you know me, but some of you don't. So I am, quick story, born in Massachusetts, the Berkshires, went to college in Boston, moved to Florida on a cold, rainy 4th of July summer day, and just wanted to escape the cold. Got started in mortgage right away. In the Tampa, St. Pete area, ended up moving down to Southwest Florida. My parents had moved here, so I wanted to be close to them. And got started, had my mortgage broker's license, and then also got my real estate sales associate and then my real estate broker's license. Owned a mortgage company and a real estate company. And then if you were around in 07, 08, the market crashed. And at that time I said, what am I going to do? I have 2 little babies and decided to go full-time into real estate. So I know you're probably thinking, how, as a mortgage broker, are you going to tell me about business planning for a real estate agent? And I was in your shoes. I sold real estate full-time from 2008 until 2016. At that point, I went back into mortgage, but I was also in coaching, one-on-one coaching for years. So I was the type of person with my business plan where, and I think there's a couple of different types of people. There's either the people that don't do a business plan at all. And then there's the people that might do a business plan and never look at it again for the entire year, only to look at it and see if you achieved your goals, at the end of the year when you're making your plan for the following year. That was me, by the way. I did my plan, I threw it in the drawer, never looked at it again. And then at the end of the year, I was like, why didn't I achieve any of my goals? And what I also found was I used to do like the Tom Ferry business plan and the Mike Ferry business, all of these different business plans, and they were so lengthy. And so I wanted to make sure that I created a simple business plan, and that's what we're going to go over today. That's not only broken down into quarterly plans, but we take it a step further and we do a monthly, a weekly, and a daily plan so that we can really start to achieve our goals. So in the chat, everybody should have the annual business plan, which we're going to go over all of this at the end. And then it's going to be broken down into quarters. And I have a couple of other things, handouts that I'll send to Joanna afterwards so that she can share with everybody as well. So if you don't have everything I talk about today, you will have it. The cool thing about the plans is that they're editable PDFs. So you don't have to print them. You can type your information into it. So the 3 things that we're going to talk about is, number 1, the importance of a business plan. We all know how important it is. Number 2 is the power of your why. And that's going to be a huge part of this class. It's really trying to figure out your why. And then we're going to talk about some ways and ideas to build your business. So you have to set a goal, okay? We have to set a goal. We have to devise a plan to reach our goal, and then we have to create a schedule to implement that plan. And I think where a lot of real estate agents fail is that we just wing it every day, right? We get up, we don't really have a plan, we're very reactive. The phone call, someone wants to see a house, we go and show them the house. We don't have that specific plan every single day, what we're going to do to accomplish our goals, and to also make sure that we're spending at least 50% of our days doing sales activities. Napoleon Hill says a goal is a dream with a deadline, and Earl Nightingale says a goal without a plan is just a wish. So I want you to really think about what your plan is. And if you haven't done a business plan yet, it's so important right now that not only do you do your plan now, but you start to implement your plan. And one of the things that I want to remind everybody is a lot of times we'll have these big lofty goals like, oh, I want to double my business next year. And that was one of the things I always said I wanted to do. But what I failed to do was put in that extraordinary effort, right? So if you want to have extraordinary goals and accomplish those goals, you have to make sure that you're putting in extraordinary effort. So if you don't know where you are in your business today, that is one of the first things that we need to figure out is where are you today in your business? How many deals have you closed this year? How much money have you made so far this year? How much were your expenses? A lot of times, if we want to make more money, all we have to do is cut some of our expenses. Are you paying for anything that's not bringing that return on investment? I can tell you I'm canceling a magazine that I just spent almost $12,000 in this past year on that has brought me zero ROI, right? So where are you spending your money that's not bringing you a return? And not only that, I want you to also, when you take maybe this weekend, take some time and go through your bank statements. I just did this exercise 2 weeks ago. What am I spending money on that is recurring that I'm not even using? So maybe it's the gym membership, maybe it's, who knows? But I went through and started highlighting, okay, what are these bills? And they're automatically coming out, but I'm not even doing anything with them. So when we're looking at our business plan, we also want to look at it from a personal level as well. And 90-day cycles is where the plan really should have been done by October 1st, because what happens is a lot of times we'll do our plan thinking, okay, I'm going to do my plan in December, and then I'm going to start implementing my plan in January, and then we're behind on our goals, right? So what we do in October, November, and December is going to dictate our income in January, February, and March. And a lot of people right now, kind of relax. The holidays are coming, Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and and everything else. And it's so easy to fall into that trap of not being focused. But if you are focused right now and you continue to work your plan from now until the end of the year, that is going to give you the best first quarter of next year and really propel you into making, 2022 the year of your life. So whenever you are implementing anything in your business, whether it's a new lead generation system or a lead follow-up system or whatever it is, you want to make sure that you're giving it that 90 days, because you will a lot of times not see results until you get past that 90-day mark. So a lot of people, and as I just mentioned, are behind on their goals, especially in the first quarter of every year, and then spend the second and third quarters playing catch up because they didn't do the activities in the fourth quarter that they should have been doing in order to make the money and achieve their goals in the first quarter. So I always talk about working off of a 15-month business plan. And with the 15-month business plan, we're always going to include the fourth quarter. So your 2022 goals have to include the fourth quarter of this year. Your activities in the fourth quarter, like I said, are going to really dictate where you are in 2022. So I want you to think about what your why is. And this is probably the most important part about the business plan, because your why is going to be why you do the things you do. It's going to be the driving force for you to get outside of your comfort zone, and do all of the things that are actually going to make you money. And we're going to talk about a little bit about active lead generation. But your why might be totally different today than what it was a couple of years ago, months ago, whatever. My why back in 2008 when the market crashed and I had 2 little kids was, oh my gosh, I do not want to go into a deep depression. We are literally losing like so much money. We had homes that, we were underwater on. It was crazy. And I had a 1-year-old and a 1-month-old. So my why then is totally different than my why now. And I just want you to remember, like, you have one life to live, right? And a lot of times we let year after year after year go by and we never accomplish all of the things that we want to accomplish. We never do all of the things that we want to do in life, or all of the things that, were meant for us. So I really want you to start to think about, like, what is your why? Like, what do you want to do? We're not like, is it that you want to travel? Is it that you want to make enough money to have real estate investments and passive income? Is it to not work until you're, 90 years old? Is it to take care of your aging parents, or send your kids through school, or pay off all of your debt? So really think about what it is in life you want. And I think you should definitely take time this weekend and really figure out your why, because a lot of us don't know our why, right? Like, we're not really even sure about what it is we want. But there's so much out there in life. And what is the point of working and doing business plans and everything else if we're not going out there and living the life that we want to live? So the importance of a big why is going to be why you're getting outside of your comfort zone and doing the things that you need to do in order to have the best 2022. So being uncomfortable means growth. You learn, you fail, and you fail falling forward. You're going to have breakthroughs. If you have these big goals and you want to do big things in life, you're going to have breakthroughs, right? But you just have to keep pushing forward, because on the other side of the breakthrough is where you become better. So in order to grow, in order to push yourself, and in order to get out of your comfort zone, it's all going to start with your why. And so here is my why. I love to travel. I literally work to like travel, and I work while I'm traveling. So these might look like, whatever, but I'm probably like leaving the Trevi fountain to go to my hotel room and like get online. My new why is to be able to travel and not work. That would be freaking amazing. But this is my why, right? So in 2019, we were in Italy, that's the Amalfi Coast. We were in Aruba last year. Last summer, we were in Portofino, Italy. So this is my why. Like, this is why I do what I do, because I, number one, want to be able to see the world. I want my kids to be able to experience different cultures. Like, I just love that. So this is my why. So what is yours? And this is going to be so important. Really figure out what it is that you want in life, because this business is going to get you there. So we talked about figuring out what your why is, but what is your vision also? Like, where do you see yourself 1 year, 3 years, 5 years down the road? A couple of years ago, I was going to teach a business planning class, and I literally felt like a fraud, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach this class, and year after year after year, I'm having a little bit of growth, but I'm not having the growth that I want. Like, I'm not having this exponential growth. And that's when it all kind of came down to me. And I was like, well, I want extraordinary results, but I'm not putting in the extraordinary effort. I'm doing a business plan, but I'm not following through on my business plan. I'm not doing the daily, activities to make me have those extraordinary results. So it really got me thinking, how can I change this and you can have huge results in 1 year if you just do the work, right? So what is your vision? How do you see yourself 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now? And then ask yourself, where are you right now in your life? Where are you right now in your business? Is this where you want to be? And if not, where is it that you want to go? And let's come and create a plan to get you there. Because like I said in the beginning, we have one life. And the last thing we want to do is go year after year after year. And some people are okay with complacency, right? So I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you're not the business planning class. So let's figure out what you're going to do to travel the world first class, get the car that you want, the house that you want, pay off all your debt, everything you want, you can have it. We just have to put a plan to get there. So ask yourself where you're at right now. Is this where you want to be? Where do you want to be? How much money do you want to make? How much money do you need to make to pay your bills? And then how much money do you need to make to not only pay your bills, but have that life that you want? And start having those goals, right? So right now for next year, I have a whiteboard, and on my whiteboard, I have my personal goals. I have my home goals, like custom closet in the master bedroom. There's certain things that I want, right? Don't think of 5 million things that you want, but just be specific of 2 or 3 personal goals, business goals, and then maybe a house goal, a family goal, whatever it is that you can then check off and accomplish next year. So a couple things that I want you to think about, because a lot of times when I teach this class, people are at all different stages in life. And they think, well, you know what? I wish I did this 5 years ago, or I wish I did this 10 years ago. And I want you to remember that it is never, ever, ever too late, because Ray Kroc was 59 years old when he started McDonald's. He was 59, right? And he went on to be and turn that into the most successful food franchise. Sam Walton opened the first Walmart store at 44. Colonel Sanders was 62 when he started KFC. And Bill Porter, who founded E-Trade, was 54 years old, right? So you can do whatever you want to do. It does not matter where you are, at this stage of life. So the power of your why is to get really, really clear on where you're at. It's not always fun. And I was telling my son this morning, it's not always fun, if you're going on a diet, for example, to get on the scale and see how much you actually weigh. And if you don't get on the scale every single day, what I've found over the year or whatever is it creeps up on you. And then you're like, oh crap. So it's not always fun to get clear on how many deals you've done or how much money you've made. But if you don't know where you are today, how are you going to determine where you need to go or where you want to go? So you need to figure out how much money you've made, how many deals you've closed as of today, and then how many deals you want to close from now until December 31st, and then next year as well. And I want you to really start to visualize yourself. I know this sounds crazy, but visualization is so important. Visualize yourself achieving those goals. Don't visualize yourself in the day-to-day, but visualize yourself achieving those goals. And then we want to make it urgent. And I think this is one of the other ways we all fail, is we think of something, and I don't know about your brain, but my brain goes a million miles a minute, where I'm like, oh, I should do this and that, and then I don't do it. And then you forget. And then a lot of other things come into your mind, right? So if you think of something, even if it's in the shower, have a pad and pen by the shower, get out, write it down, because we have to take that immediate action. If we don't take that action, it's not going to happen. And we don't want to have that analysis paralysis where we don't take action because we don't know how. We don't take action because we don't know what the outcome is going to be. Just do it, right? And it's called falling forward, because if it doesn't work out, it's okay. We're going to figure out how to make it work out. So I want you to start to take immediate action. And that's the biggest difference between an average person and a successful person, is immediate action. And not only that, but the speed of implementation. And that's one of the things over the past couple of years that I've really started working on, is because it's not something that happens overnight, is recognizing my thoughts and saying, okay, I should do this, and then taking that action to do it. And just keeping in mind, the faster we implement things in our business, whether it's going to work out or not, the faster we're going to move forward. So I want you to start to think big, because big thinking equals big goals, which also equals big success. And as I had just mentioned, really start to think about your thoughts, because I can tell you today, I was thinking, and I guess I want to say for a couple of days now, I let my thoughts control me, where I had all of these big lofty goals. And then I started thinking small, where, oh my gosh, like, what's the market going to do next year? Oh my gosh, like, what if the market changes? Can I still send, my kids to school? Can I do this? And I stopped myself today and I was like, Danielle, you're thinking small. Like, if you just do the work, the money is going to be there. If you just do the activities, it's going to be there, right? So start to recognize when you're thinking small and just stop it, right? You have to make sure that you're recognizing where your thoughts are. So goal setting. We talked about a 90-day cycle and making sure that what we do today is going to impact or be our income in January, February, and March, right? So every week we want to set our goals for the week. And it's so important to not be reactive. And that's one of the biggest things that I think we all can get sucked into, is just getting too busy and being reactive and not having a plan. So I want you to get in the habit of either Friday, the week before, or Sunday night, setting your goals for the entire week, setting your plan for the entire week. I created, because I wanted to break it down, and this is one of the things that you don't have, but I created a daily success plan that Joanna will send to everybody. And basically on this plan, it has the dates, it has my annual goal numbers, in terms of how many units I've done, my volume, and then it has my year to date. So I'm always keeping track of how many deals have I closed? How many for you buyer sales have you closed? How many listings have you closed? How many new contacts are you going to make today? How many existing contacts are you going to make today? And then who are you going to call in your database? Over the past week, I've had 3 people reach out to me that are past clients of mine. I did their mortgage. And all 3 of them asked me who to call because they want to list their home.
Oh, wow.
So what that tells me is that the real estate agent that sold them that deal has not done anything to stay in touch with their past clients, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're creating your business plan, I want you to think about what you're going to do next year to stay in touch with your past clients. How many times have you, heard that a friend went and bought real estate and it wasn't through you? It happens all the time, right? Why?
They want high fives and hugs and celebrations.
Yeah. Great. It's because you're not staying in touch with your database. You just assume, oh, well, when my friend Susie wants to sell her home, she's automatically going to call me, but that's not how it works, right? So Susie starts talking to other people about how she's considering, selling her home, blah, blah, blah. And then this one says, oh, you should talk to this real estate agent or whatever. And it might not be like a negative towards you. It might be that she just didn't even think about it, right? So I want you to think about, a lot of times we're like, oh, how can we get deals? How can I get a deal today? Start calling your past clients. Start calling your spheres of influence. Start figuring out what you're going to do to stay in touch with them. I just signed up for a company called Client Giant, right? For $99 a year, they're going to reach out with little personal gifts to my past clients once a quarter, right? So that will be a touch to them. I also have another system called HomeBot, which is where these 3 people came in from, that sends them that monthly digest. So I want you to think about, even if it's picking up the phone and calling them, on the daily success plan, I also have thank you cards, right? Sending 2 thank you cards a day, which it could be to your past clients, it could be to your sphere, it could be to whoever. But make sure that when you're creating your plan, you're figuring out how you're going to stay in touch with your past clients. So we already talked about that. So one of the things, and it was a couple of years ago, well, probably like 2.5 years ago, and I felt like I was in a rut, like I was just in this funk, and I was very reactive. I was not being proactive. I wasn't planning my day like I should, and I knew it, like I knew better, because I'll go through times where I'm super consistent, like wake up, do the things that I need to do. And for, I want to say a good year, I was rolling out of bed 5 minutes before the kids had to get up, getting the kids up, just being reactive in my day. And I said, I have to turn this around, right? So I read the book Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and it literally changed my life. In fact, I did a post the other day and he commented on my Facebook page. I was like, what?
That's exciting.
It's so exciting. But the book totally changed my life. And it talks about having this miracle morning. It talks about waking up in the morning and having, and I can tell you what my miracle morning consists of, but having a 1 to 1.5 hours by myself, right? So that I can meditate, I can exercise, I can journal, I can plan my day, I can take care of anything that kind of I just need to like bang out in the morning. And then read. So I spend 5 to 10 minutes reading. I'll do some journaling on where I see my life. I'll do some visualization. But that 1 to 1.5 hours in the morning is so incredibly important. And we talk about bookending your day, right? And I feel like this is the number one way to get out of that reactiveness. And to be proactive is to set that miracle morning up. I am not a morning person. I am a snoozeaholic. On the weekends, I could sleep until 1 p.m. Like, I am not a morning person. So I don't want people to be like, oh, I hate getting up in the morning too, but my phone goes off my alarm goes off at 5 a.m. And it's not always fun, but I do get up and I get my coffee and I do it. And I feel so much better afterwards. So think about bookending your day. Think about your routine. What are you doing in the morning to set yourself up for a winning day? And then really your day starts the night before. So what are you doing at night to create that nighttime routine so that tomorrow morning when that alarm goes off, you're going to jump up and get to it, right? So start to plan your days between having that bookend, that good morning routine and a good night routine, and that is going to get you, in my personal opinion, and read the book Miracle Morning, but that will get you out of being in that reactive state, right? Because we don't want to let the day control us. We need to control the day. And we're all in sales. So 75% of our day should really be spent doing sales activities. And if you think about your day and what you do during the day, I can guarantee you, unless you're doing, 50 million a year in sales, a lot of it is going to be that reactiveness. So start to figure out why. Start to figure out what it is you need to do. And I would tell you, and I created this thing, which I'll send it to you as well. It's called Done by One. If you do my daily success plan, where every single day you do not do a single thing, I don't care. Like if someone wants to see a house tomorrow at 10 a.m., when I sold real estate, and this is a whole other class and a whole other story about prospecting, but I prospected expired FSBOs, just listed, just sold. That's how I, built my business pretty quickly. I had no other choice. It was not fun, but I was also like bleeding money. I had 2 little babies, and I'm like, I need a car. Like I just need to be able to pay the bills. So anyways, if someone wanted to see a home at 10 a.m., I wasn't showing it to them, right? Because the odds of them buying it, I can have better odds doing my daily prospecting and creating more business that way. And if they couldn't wait until 12 o'clock to see a home, then it's probably not worth, my time. So if you work on this daily success plan and you do it 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, which consists of lead generation, both active and passive, lead follow-up, social media posts, text messages, reaching out to your past clients. And then by 1 o'clock, if all of your sales activities are done, then you can go and, show your homes and do what marketing flyers, anything else that it is you want to do. Because we need to make sure that we are being proactive if we want to achieve our goals. So have a schedule that supports your goals and don't let anything else interrupt that lead gen time. And if anybody wants to talk about lead gen, I love like helping people. You can reach out to me. We can talk about different ways to generate more leads for you. I have a whole class on lead generation we could do at some point. So anyways, so ways to build your business. Number one, you have to have a lead generation system that includes both active and passive marketing. And we're going to talk about that in a minute, the differences between the two. You have to have a good lead follow-up system. This is where the money is, right? We fail, it's me especially. Lead follow-up is something that I have had to work on to get better at it, because I'll call those leads, right? But if I don't follow up on those leads, then it doesn't really matter if I call them the first time or not, because half the time they're not buying right away. So what is your lead follow-up system? And if you don't have a lead follow-up system, you need to figure that out. You need to start with your lead generation system and your lead follow-up system. What systems do you have for pre-qualifying people? If someone calls you and says they want to go see 123 Main Street at 3 p.m., are you jumping in the car to show them 123 Main Street, or are you going to pre-qualify them to see if it's worth your time? Because another reason why I think a lot of real estate agents feel that burnout is because they're spending time with people that are not going to do anything anyways. They're not pre-qualifying them, and then they're getting burnt out because you're working so many hours and you're not making any money. And the next thing you know, you're getting a second job, right? So this is one of the biggest things you need to figure out is, what is your system for pre-qualifying your buyers? What is your system for pre-qualifying your sellers? And then this is also something that's really important. What is your system for re-qualifying them? Because I can tell you, I have a client that, in the real estate agent, I called them the other day, what they wanted back in July, first floor, master bedroom, Well, here we are in November, they're not finding that. So do you think what they told you in July they wanted and what they want now, based on what they've seen out there, could be different? So you want to make sure that you're continuing to ask those re-qualifying questions. I know you said you wanted that first floor master bedroom. It's been very difficult. Is that something that is a 100% must have? Or would you be open to looking for others that have the master on the second floor, right? So make sure that you are not only pre-qualifying them, but re-qualifying them, because you can lose them. And if you're not asking the right questions, they're then going to think, or if you're showing them property after property and you're not asking them questions, they're going to think that you don't get them. And then maybe you're not the right agent for them. And then that's when they go somewhere else. And a lot of times we don't ask the questions because we don't, I don't know, it's almost like we don't want to lose them. So we're not asking them all of these important questions, but they're so important because it makes the client think that you understand, that you care, that you're listening to them. So figure out what your pre-qualification script is. And then you have to set your standards. I was talking to a guy, this was a couple of years ago. We were having coffee, real estate agent down in Naples. And he's like, oh, I gotta go. I have to go show a rental in Cape Coral. Oh, no. And I'm like, you're going to drive an hour to show a rental that you might make $300 on? That's insane.
It's not around here, it's 100.
Oh. So, when you generate, you don't have to tolerate. And that's that small-minded thinking. That's somebody that doesn't have a plan in place. That's somebody that's like, oh my gosh, it's a deal. I just need to go and close that deal because I need the money, right? So I want you to start thinking about what your standards are, and your standards can change. When I moved from Southwest Florida to Miami, I did not know a single person. Okay. I didn't know a single person. I didn't know how to get around. And I just prospected my expired. My standards weren't as high in the beginning because I, needed deals. I would not show $100 rental, but as I got bigger, as I got more deals, I started having standards, right? If it was a buyer under a certain price point, I was referring them. So figure out what your standards are, and don't get nervous like, oh, I might lose a commission. There's a lot of people that will take that client and pay you a referral fee. And it just made me think, I was in a coaching program once, and the guy said, what did he say? He said, your filet, something along the lines of like, I can't remember the analogy, but something along the lines of like, the things that you don't like to do, other people might love to do that, right? So if that doesn't fit within your standards, that's okay, refer it out. And that also goes for things in your business that you don't enjoy doing. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So your schedule, be proactive. If you do not have a schedule during your day, at least get the time blocking down. So I have my miracle morning, my 5:15 to 9 o'clock, everything I do, I printed it Monday through Friday, and I check those boxes off every single week. You know, did I sit there and think in silence, journal, read, meditate, do a Facebook post, work out? So get ready, email, delegate, all of that stuff is done before 9. That's my block 1. And then my block 2 is that daily success plan, which is the new contacts, right? The existing contacts, my past clients. So get your time blocking down. It doesn't have to be a super rigid schedule, but you have to have a schedule. One of the things I also want you to think about is if you start working your plan, you're going to get business and you're going to get busy. And one of the reasons why people don't ever get to that next level is because they're on that sales roller coaster. And the sales roller coaster is you start, you get a plan down, I'm going to do this every day, I'm going to call these people, and you'll be surprised. You might be calling 10 people a day and a deal just falls on your lap from someone from, high school that you wouldn't even have thought of. So when you start doing your lead generation, I 100% guarantee you everything is going to start coming in. The problem is that if you don't have a plan to take care of your business when it starts coming in, you're going to get so busy, you're going to feel overwhelmed, and then you're going to stop lead generating, stop doing the things that got you the business because you want to take care of your clients and you don't want to have that bad customer service and they need to be taken care of. And then your business is like this because everybody you're working with then either closes or dies or buys from someone else, not literally dies, but like the deal dies, or buys from someone else or whatever. And so it's like, you're working, you got all these deals, yay. Guess what? Now I'm going to work on these deals and now I have no more deals. So your business goes like this, right? So start to think about when I get busy, who's going to do what? You can't do it all. Have you been to a restaurant where the chef is also the server, is also the one that greets you, is also, that might work in a food truck, right? But if you want to have a high functioning business, or even a medium functioning business, figure out who is going to do what when you get busy. So maybe that looks like hiring a transaction coordinator, right? From contract to close. There's a lot of them out there. You pay them per file. If it closes, they get the money. Mine never got paid if it didn't close. That was her whole thing. Some of them want like $100 up front. If you need to know of any, I can definitely refer you some people that are amazing. Inputting pictures into the MLS. How freaking boring is that? And who even wants to do that? There are some people that might want to do that, but that's a time suck. So as you get busier, figure out what you enjoy doing and what you hate doing. And there's virtual assistants and transaction coordinators and everybody else that can help you. I feel like sometimes we don't want more business because we don't want the headache, right? But if you could take the headaches away for the things that you don't like doing in the job and find somebody else to do them for you, that will then allow you to then go out and get more business and get off of that sales roller coaster. So some ways to build your business is number 1, you have to have a good CRM. Do you offer the CRMs for them?
It's a good one through Agent 3000.
Okay. So you have to have a good CRM. If you have to put your past clients, everyone into your CRM. You have to drip to them, send them something of value. I just signed up for this other service. I will put everybody in there. It emails out awesome things that you can send to your clients. So you literally can just take everything in this email and copy, paste it, and send it to your clients. You have to lead generate daily. Like, people don't get into real estate saying, oh, I'm in real estate because I want to generate. Like, leads. It doesn't work like that. It's like, oh, I have the flexibility. I like houses. I like showing people. I like working with people, blah, blah, blah. The thing is that if we don't have any leads, we're going to be out of business, right? So you have to figure out, are you going to buy the leads? Are you going to work for the leads? I had to work for the leads. I didn't have the money to just buy the leads. So figure out what your plan is going to be for lead generation, and then what your plan is going to be for lead follow-up, what your plan is going to be for pre-qualifying your clients. The number one thing that has to be done is being consistent. Coming up with a plan, not making it so elaborate, and then being consistent with your plan. Because if you are not consistent, it will never work. 90 days, you want to make sure that you're giving it that 90 days. And I promise you, if you put a plan in place for 90 days, you will see the results. Realize that it's going to take more time than you think. And then start to think about what your systems that you already have are and what systems you need to implement. So if you work with buyers, what is your buyer system, right? Are you meeting them at the office? Are you doing a buyer presentation for them? What do you send to them and about you? Like, what is your system with working with buyers? What is your system with working with sellers? What is your lead follow-up system? How do you market yourself, right? What is, lead generation systems? So figure out what your systems are, and then just take one thing. This is my system. This is, this is what I have or how I'm doing it or whatever. Get that good, and then create another system. One of the things with me is like I said before, is a lead follow-up system. And then also I wanted to stay in touch with my clients throughout the year. So I literally sat down and brainstormed with myself to say, okay, from loan application all the way through until closing. And then after, for the next several years, what is my system? And that's when I signed up for that Client Giant thing. And now I have a system. When I get an application, this is the card that goes out. When I get that full-blown pre-approval, this is what goes out to the client. This is what goes out to the listing agent. This is what goes out to the buyer's agent. So start to think about what your system is to stay in touch with your past clients and your sphere of influence. And just remember that leads are going to bring you leads, but lead follow-up is really where the money is. So 11 reasons why real estate agents succeed. I'm going to go through a couple of these things real quick, and then we're going to talk about the business plan. So number one, they focus on business generation, and you get what you focus on. You prospect and lead generate early in the day. If you are not doing your lead generation time earlier in the day, it's never going to happen. Because it's like that book called Eat the Frog, right? You have to get the worst thing that you hate doing out of the way. For me, it's exercise also. I don't enjoy exercising, but if I don't wake up and I'm not delirious when I start to go for a run, I'm not going to do it, right? So whatever you don't want to do that will also bring you the most results, you need to do it during the day. They're strong on pricing, and they go back faster on price reductions. Now, this is more in a neutral market. Right now, listings are flying off of the shelf. They prospect for appointments and not leads. They track and monitor what they do. They review their plan once a month. They have a schedule and stay on it. They maintain high standards. They do not get emotionally involved, and this is one of the most important things, but a lot of us fall into that trap. They have a plan, they have accountability, and they have structure. So these are some of the reasons they fail, right? They wait for repeat and referral business. They're not proactively going out and getting it. They're waiting for that repeat and referral business. They're inconsistent when they generate business. They don't qualify their leads. They don't qualify their appointments. They spend too much time on marketing and self-promotion. They don't track and monitor their activities. And they have no plan, no accountability, and no structure. So let's talk about a couple of lead generation passive ideas. This is going to be your social media. You put a post out there on social media. passive marketing is anything that's not going to bring you like that rejection, right? When you feel rejection or you're doing things that may bring you rejection, unfortunately, those are the things that you need to do, because that's really where the results are going to be. A video blog, which is something I did, think about things that you can do to get yourself out there, whether it's to your farm, whether it's to your past clients, your sphere of influence, friends, family, whoever. What can you do to get yourself out there? Blog posts, your farming, sending out mailers. So these are all things that you can do that may bring you a return, but will also take time. It's more about branding on this passive lead gen. So if we look at the active lead gen, this is where you're going to make the most money, and that's door knocking, right? Calling the expired listings, calling the for sale by owners, calling your past clients, calling your sphere of influence, effective networking. A lot of times we go to networking events with no plan, no goal, talk to whoever, right? Start to think about who your target market is. Who do you want to go after? Using resources like Slide Dial and texting base. Slide Dial is basically a service where you can record something and upload a list into it, and it will leave a voice message on all of the voicemails that you uploaded into Slide Dial. So that's one way to stay in touch with your past clients. You can wish them a happy Thanksgiving. You can, call them and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know, homestead exemption time is coming up. Make sure that you have your settlement statement. If you need it, call me. I can get that for you, but make sure you're applying for your homestead exemption. Think of something different. Tax season, right? Maybe they need their settlement statement for the tax season. Hey, I just wanted to let you know it's tax season. And I know a lot of my clients are from outside of the area that may have just relocated here. If you're looking for a great tax accountant, let me know. I can certainly refer you to one. So think about what you're going to do on those quarterly touch points. And you can always use like a holiday around there or some event to reach out. And by the way, if you know of anybody that might be looking to buy or sell, please give me a call. I'd love to help, right? So making sure you're also asking for those referrals. Probate, divorce attorneys, going after the short sales, we're starting to see them again. Evictions, you can pull the evictions from Lee Clark, right? I'm evicting somebody right now. I have a tenant in Naples and it's a nightmare. And it gives you this feeling like I don't ever want to be a landlord again. So I can guarantee you there's a lot of other landlords that feel exactly like me. Call them, see if they want to sell. I noticed that you are going through an eviction right now. We have a lot of buyers that are looking to buy in your area. I'd love to be able to help. Have you considered selling this home? Right? So there's so many different ways that we can get business. We just have to come up with a plan. So we're going to, this is the old one. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, so we're going to talk about the business plan now. And if we look at the annual business plan, we're going to talk about a recap of last year, okay? And the first part is, how many, and I know we're not at the end of the year, so you do this in pencil, but you have an idea as to how many more deals you're going to do between now and the end of the year. So how many families have I served so far this year? What was my gross income? And then what was my actual income, right? So the gross income is going to be, obviously gross, which would be your volume income. And then the net income is going to be your income after all of the expenses. How many contacts did you make, right? A lot of times we do not track that. When I was in coaching, that was the number one thing that they made us track all the time. How many contacts a day are you making for new prospects? How many buyer appointments did you go on? How many buyer sales did you have? So even if you went on a buyer appointment with a buyer, you're not always selling them, right? How many listing appointments did you go on? And then how many did you actually take? And how many did you sell? How many price reductions did you have? So one of the ways, and this market's a little different, but to get property sold is to make sure we're going back and communicating with our sellers and having those price reduction conversations. how many of your listings were expired or withdrawn? And then this is also very important. How much was your average sales price and what was your average commission check? One of the best things about this business, and I just, a lot of times we don't really think about this, but your income can be so much more than a doctor, than a lawyer, than a chiropractor. Like, you can make so much more money. I see surgeons making like $250,000 a year, right? If you have an average sales price of $300,000 and you sell 1 home a month or 12 homes a year, your income is $108,000 for that year, right? If you sell, let's just say 4 homes a month and you sell 48 homes at a $300,000 sales price, your income is $432,000 a year. Now, I know every single person in this class, if they really wanted to, could sell 4 homes a month or 2 homes a month. You're making $250,000 a year, right? So you have no student loan debt from being a doctor, right? You didn't go to school for 8 years. You have a life also. But if you implement your plan, you can have so much more than so many people. So it's really important to remember that. So when you start to think about what your 2022 business plan is going to be, I want you to think big, because you can have so much more in life. So think about how many families you want to serve, what your income, how much money you want to make. I want you to look at your expenses to see what you plan on netting. Also, and we'll go through this in just a second, but how many buyers do you want to work with? How many buyer sales do you want to have? How many listings do you want to go on? Listing appointments gone on? Listings taken, listings sold. What do you want your average sales price to be? If your average sales price is $150,000 right now, okay, how can you increase your average sales price? That's one way to make more money without doing any extra work, right? So who is your ideal client? Think about that. What is your ideal, what is the sales price that you're looking for? And get a very specific. A lot of times people will say, oh, I'll work with anybody that's looking to buy, sell, invest, or build. Well, that's so broad. The moment you start coming up with that target of who it is you want to work with, the moment those people start to appear in your life. So you have to get very intentional about what it is you're looking for. So on the second page, and I feel like this is all like a really important exercise to go through. But these are questions to ask yourself, like, what is my 80%? When you list your deals for this year, get a piece of paper, write down every single deal you've done, and then on the side, write down where that deal came from, right? How did you get that deal? If it was a referral, get your stack of thank you cards and send those people a thank you card, whoever the referral was. So figure out what your 80% is, and then figure out in your day, what are you doing that's bringing you no return? What are you paying for that's bringing you no return? And then in order to achieve my goal, what sources do I need to add more of? And then what sources do I need to stop, cut, or eliminate? And then I want you to ask yourself, like, what are you good at? Make a list. What do you like doing in this business? Do you like working with buyers? Do you like I know a lot of real estate agents that love the staging part of it, right? They love to go in and help stage, but they get too busy that's the part they love, and that's the part that they're really good at, and that's the part that brings the value, but they're bogged down with inputting pictures into the MLS and everything else. What are you good at? What do you like doing? What are you not great at? What does not bring you a lot of money? Who's going to do those things for you? Because there are people that might love the paperwork aspect, but the thought of staging a home and dealing with a buyer or a seller like is cringing to them. So whatever you like doing, you need to make sure that you're doing more of that. And then whatever you don't like doing, you're figuring out who is going to do that for you. Ask yourself in your business, like, what do I need to improve upon? I can tell you with me, mine was the lead follow-up, and that's always been a theme in my life. I'm kind of like this, just like go, 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 where I have to take a step back and be like, hey, let me not forget about these people over here that I've already had that conversation with and established a relationship with and everything else. So what are my systems? What can I automate? What can I delegate? That client giant, $100. Think about it. You make a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 commission. You take $100 out of that commission, which is also an expense that's tax deductible. Put these people in a system to touch them once a year, right? So what are the things that you can automate? And what are the things that you can delegate? What do you need to improve upon? What do you need to systematize in your business? Like, where are the holes in your tent? And then who is my next hire and why? Because I can promise you, if you start to implement these plans and start to work your business like a business, you will get deals, right? So who do you want your next hire to be? And have them in mind. Have them ready to go. And then when we're talking about our business expenses, I want you to go through your bank statements and literally list out every single business expense, right? Where are you? Maybe it's a networking group that you belong to and you don't attend any of the networking meetings. What are all of your expenses? And then what is the return on investment? And how many leads did you generate from that source? And if the answer is nothing, you need to cut it immediately. If the answer is, well, I got 3 leads from this source, right? Then you need to say, okay, I'm not getting a lot of business from it. I'm going to go all in on this for the next 30 days or 60 days, however many days you want to give yourself. And then say, if I don't generate X amount from this, I'm going all in. Maybe I haven't been giving it my all, blah, 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 but it's a source I do think I might be able to get more deals from. Then write it down, but have a drop dead date of when, if do not have any deals from that source, you're going to eliminate it or cut it. I can tell you, I talk to people all the time that spend thousands of dollars on Zillow and they keep saying, I'm not getting any result or any return, or the return isn't there or whatever, and they don't do anything about it, right? So really start to figure out what you need to stop doing and what you need to do more of. And then what is your why? Like, what is your reward at the end of the year? And one thing I want to mention about business planning is we tend to think about a year starting January 1st. And it does start January 1st, but everybody's different. My year actually started in August because I take the summer and I go to Europe every single summer with my family and my friends, right? So I don't work that hard in July or in August. So I would rather work my butt off from September until June, which is really my year, and then have those 2 months where I'm not working as much. So your year doesn't have to start January 1st, right? Your year can start whenever you want your year to start. But what is your why and what is your reward? Because if we're not working towards, something that's going to make us feel really good, then what's the point of even working? What's the point of even doing this? So that's pretty much it. Just a couple touch points that I want to bring up again. I mean, this is the annual business plan. Once you have your annual plan, you're going to break it down into quarters. And then you are going to break it down into what you're going to do every day and every week. One of the biggest things that I feel like we don't, one of the reasons why we don't do things is organization. And this is what happens. It's like, okay, I know I need to call my past clients. I know I need to call my sphere. I know I need to do this. I know I need to do that. And then we wake up that morning and we're like, okay, we're just going to start calling, right? We can't do that. Take this daily success plan Sunday night or the Friday before and fill it out for the entire week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Have everyone written down on who you're calling. Have their phone numbers if you need to. If you have a good CRM that can do this for you, set your CRM to do it. But make sure that this is all planned out the week before, because if it's not, the likelihood of you doing it is going to be very slim, or it's not going to be done like the way that it should be, which is filling up this entire page 5 days a week. So I really encourage you to take some time this weekend to figure out your why, to see, you know, what it is that you're looking to accomplish in your business, in your personal life. You know, stop going year after year after year, just having these minimal results, you know, really put together a plan to make 2022 be the best year ever. And that's pretty much it. I usually end with a video, which is a really good one, but it's not on this slide, so.
Oh, weird. And for, just so everybody knows, we're also gonna put the whole business plan and all of that in app files so that you guys can access it at any point if you need to and fill it out and work on it throughout the rest of the quarter.
Exactly.
But all right, guys on Zoom, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you, thank you, thank you.